Have you ever walked out of a party without saying goodbye just because something inside you suddenly felt off? Or maybe you've caught yourself checking your phone again and again, wondering why no one has replied yet. You tell yourself it's nothing, maybe just stress, but deep down, it feels heavier than that. The truth is, you might be experiencing anxiety. In the United States alone, over 40 million adults struggle with it every single day, making it the most common mental health issue in the country. But anxiety isn't always dramatic. It doesn't always look like panic attacks or someone gasping for air. Sometimes it hides behind small, ordinary behaviors, things we do without realizing they're signs of something deeper. Today, we'll uncover 12 subtle signs that could reveal you're living with anxiety, and why understanding them can change the way you see yourself. Anxiety is more than just worry. It's the constant sense that something might go wrong, even when everything seems perfectly fine. It's that uneasy feeling in your chest, the racing thoughts that won't quiet down, and the tension that never really leaves your body. While a little anxiety is part of being human and even helps us stay alert or motivated, chronic anxiety is different. It lingers. It grows. It turns everyday moments into silent battles. Scientists believe anxiety can come from many sources: genetics, brain chemistry, personality traits, or even the experiences we've lived through. But no matter its cause, anxiety has one thing in common. It tries to protect us, yet ends up controlling us. Understanding what it truly is and how it shapes our thoughts and actions is the first step toward regaining that control. Now that we understand what anxiety really is, let's take a closer look at how it quietly shows up in everyday life. These signs might seem small or harmless at first, but together they paint a powerful picture of how anxiety can shape our behavior, our relationships, and even the way we see ourselves. So, here are 12 subtle signs that might reveal you're living with anxiety, even if you've never noticed them before. Sign 1. You disappear without warning. Sometimes anxiety makes you vanish. You might leave a gathering, a class, or even a conversation without explanation. It's not because you don't care, it's because your mind suddenly screams for escape. When anxiety hits, even ordinary environments can feel suffocating. The music becomes too loud, the lights too bright, and you just need space to breathe. To others, it looks like you're being distant. But for you, it's survival, a quiet retreat to regain control over a racing heartbeat. Sign 2. You overthink every message. Have you ever stared at a text you just sent, wondering if you said something wrong, or reread a conversation, trying to decode the tone of the other person's words? Anxiety loves to play this game. It turns silence into rejection and normal pauses into proof that someone's upset with you. You start editing your thoughts before you even speak them, afraid of being misunderstood. What feels like caring is often your brain trying to protect you from imagined rejection, one that probably isn't even there. Sign 3. You double-check everything. Doors, alarms, emails, messages, checked again, and checked once more. Anxiety doesn't trust just once. It whispers, "What if you're wrong? What if you missed something?" So you repeat the cycle to feel safe. But that temporary relief never lasts. Soon, you're caught between needing reassurance and knowing it's never enough. What starts as responsibility turns into an exhausting ritual of control. And still, your mind never feels certain. Sign 4. You avoid social events. You want to go. You really do. You imagine yourself having fun, laughing, feeling free. But then, the day arrives, and your chest tightens. What if the music's too loud? What if people stare? What if you don't know what to say? Anxiety convinces you that staying home is safer, so you cancel again. You tell yourself you'll go next time. But when next time comes, the same thoughts return. And slowly, you begin to confuse peace with isolation. Sign 5. You miss opportunities. Anxiety often wears the mask of perfectionism. It tells you not to act until everything's just right, until you're ready, until you're perfect. But ready never comes. You over-prepare, overthink, and eventually step aside, letting chances pass you by. Maybe it's applying for that job, starting a project, or saying how you really feel. Deep down, you're afraid of failing, so you convince yourself it's better not to try at all. It feels like protection, but really, it's self-sabotage disguised as caution. Sign 6. Certain dates trigger you. Some people can move on from painful memories easily, others can't. For someone with anxiety, certain dates on the calendar bring back everything: the feelings, the smells, the details. Even if you've grown, even if you've healed, those memories can still echo inside you. It's not weakness, it's your brain trying to keep you from being hurt again. The problem is, it can't tell the difference between past and present, so you relive what's already over. Sign 7. You can't sit still. Stillness can be torture for an anxious mind. Waiting rooms, long lines, quiet mornings, they all become moments of restlessness. You grab your phone, scroll, tap, fidget, anything to distract yourself from your own thoughts, because when the outside world slows down, your inner world speeds up. Anxiety thrives in silence, whispering every what if you've been avoiding. You move, not because you want to, but because stopping means feeling, and feeling can be overwhelming. Sign 8. You feel shy or withdrawn. People often mistake anxiety for introversion, but they're not the same. You may actually crave connection, laughter, closeness, yet anxiety tells you you're not good enough to have it. You overanalyze every word you say, every glance someone gives. You fear being judged, embarrassed, or simply not liked. So you shrink yourself to stay safe. You avoid making eye contact, you stay quiet in conversations, and you convince yourself that being invisible is easier than being misunderstood. Sign 9. You're overly attached in relationships. Anxious attachment doesn't come from neediness. It comes from fear. You care deeply about others, but your anxiety tells you they might leave. So, you text often, ask if they're okay, need constant reassurance. It's not manipulation, it's panic disguised as love. You just want to know they still care. But the irony is, the more you seek reassurance, the more you fear being too much. And that fear feeds the cycle all over again. Sign 10. You struggle to take action. You make plans, set goals, imagine success. But when the moment comes to start, something stops you. Your mind floods with doubts. What if I fail? What if people laugh? What if it doesn't work out? So you delay, reorganize, and plan again, believing you're being careful. But underneath, it's fear of imperfection. Anxiety convinces you to wait until the fear goes away, yet the truth is, the fear only fades after you take the first step. Sign 11. You rehearse conversations in your head. Even a simple phone call can feel like a performance. You practice what you'll say, imagine how the other person might respond, then rehearse your answer again. It feels safer to plan every word until you realize you've spent more time preparing for life than living it. Anxiety is a master storyteller, always predicting what could go wrong. But the best conversations and the best moments happen when you stop rehearsing and just show up. Sign 12. You need time alone. Sometimes anxiety leaves you drained, like you've run a marathon without moving an inch. You crave silence, solitude, the comfort of your own space. You might cancel plans, mute your phone, and just disappear for a while. It's not that you dislike people. You just need to breathe without pressure, to exist without performance. Solitude becomes a reset button, a way to find balance again. And that's okay, as long as you return to the world once you've rested. Anxiety wears many faces. For some, it's loud and obvious. For others, quiet and invisible. It's the overthinking, the perfectionism, the constant what if that never lets go. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean labeling yourself as broken. It means understanding how your mind tries to protect you, sometimes in ways that hurt more than help. Because once you see anxiety for what it is, you can start learning how to live with it, not under it. Anxiety isn't a flaw, it's a signal. It's your mind's way of saying, I'm overwhelmed and I need care. Every one of us feels anxious sometimes. It's part of being human. But when those feelings start to take the driver's seat, when they stop you from living, connecting, or simply resting, that's when it becomes something more. Remember, anxiety doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've been strong for too long without help. Recognizing these patterns isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of healing. Because awareness is the first moment when you stop fighting yourself and start understanding yourself.